All right. It says we're live, but there's always that lovely delay. So hopefully it will pop up here shortly that we are live.
And
There
we're
we
there already. That was
go.
quick.
That was really fast. Actually. Well, it's
Maybe
actually
the
really
delay.
fast on my phone, but it still hasn't popped up on my computer. There we go.
I say it popped up that fast on my computer, which was crazy.
Wow, that is wild.
And then it hasn't popped up on my, is it? And my phone is slow today.
Ours were opposite today.
Yep. There it
Well,
is.
hi, friends. Welcome to Combined YouTube Live. When Heather and I do a combined live, that typically means you're getting a sneak peek of our next release, which is exactly what we're doing today.
And we were getting excited about it. This one felt like it snuck up so quickly.
It really did. All right. Looks like we have a lot of people joining us. It looks like Kinnery is in the comments chatting behind the Pinkfresh Studio name, since Heather and I are both here on video.
And Kinnery will be our whack-a-troll designated hammer wielder today.
I love that, whack-a-troll. Here's hoping we don't have any, but in case there are some, she's here to save the day.
Hold on, I forgot to close the doors in my room, so I'm going to go do that real quick.
Sure. While Heather is closing the doors, I'm just going to go over a couple of things before we get going. So one thing that we would love for you guys to do is give this video a thumbs up. That helps the video both now. It helps the videos reach currently while it's live, but also on the replay. So in hopes that other crafters will find us and be inspired by our products and our projects.
Exactly.
So we also do a giveaway, and I'm going to pass it to Heather and she can chat about that.
Yes. So every live, we do a $15 gift card. We usually do a double one. So Kinnery, I'm asking permission because she's there, but now that I've said it, I'm sure it'll be good. We usually do 2 giveaways on these live sneak peeks since it's the only live for the week and you get both of us. So you get 2 giveaways. The way you enter for those is just what you're doing already. Lots of comments in the chat. Chat with everyone else, ask us questions if you have any. Just have fun sharing and being busy in the chat there. And one other way that you can win is by sharing this video. If you want to share this sneak peek with anyone else, it can be in a message, in a Facebook group if you know it's allowed with the rules, in an email to a friend on your social media, whatever. Just come back and leave us a comment and let us know you shared. And then that counts as an extra entry as well. And Kinnery will pick both of those somewhere. Sometimes we pick one in the middle and one at the end. If we're paying attention and see that she says she's going to do that. Otherwise, they'll both be at the end. So just kind of be watching for those.
Awesome. Well, as we mentioned today, Heather and I are going to sneak peek a couple of new products that are coming up in our November release. Just to kind of give you a blanket statement, most of the products we're using today aren't currently available. So they are not linked in the video description. They will be available in our online shop on Monday, November 21st at 7 a.m. Central Time.
Yeah. And I don't know about you, Leah, but I didn't have time to grab the other things I was using that were released, including 8 colors. Normally I get those in the video description. So I don't think either of us have those. So we'll update those after the video today to get those. So, but we'll do our best
to add those later.
We'll do our best to show them.
This kind of snuck up on us today.
It feels like Monday, even though it's Tuesday.
I know, right?
So we'll do our best to show what ink colors and everything. And if you have questions, ask. But if you miss anything, it's always up on replay and you can catch those. And then, like I said, we'll add them to that video description after the live. So they'll be there as a reference.
I see some people talking and chatting about cold weather. We finally had our first little skiff of snow here in Minneapolis. I'm loving it. It's actually currently just lightly fluttering down snow right outside my window. So
I'm jealous. Although I'm not going to complain about the sunshine that we have here because that's a rare commodity in the winter here. So.
Oh my goodness, especially right now.
Yes.
All right. Well, we should probably get these cameras flipped around and get going, or we're going to go way over in time.
Exactly.
Bear with us while we make the transition here.
Okay. And mine switched first. So, and I have the set that we're using today already sitting here. So shall I go ahead and
absolutely. Now I do too. You can definitely share it first.
Over it. All right. So this beautiful set is called You're the Best. This one does not have a hot foil plate, but it's a beautiful stamp set in our usual 1-piece floral with some fabulous sentiments and the one piece die. And there's also a coordinating die for one of the, that one large scripty sentiment. And then beautiful layering stencils that Leah and I will both use today and be mixing and matching different colors. One of us is going to heat emboss. And so that's what we're working with today.
That is what we're using today. I think I'm going to sneak peek later on just one more product.
Yes.
I don't know if Heather is using an additional product today or not.
I don't think so, but
Okay.
you never know. I don't really have a hard, fast plan today.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Well, we should probably get going. So I am going to go ahead and grab my Misty stamping platform.
I'm doing the same.
And going to get going with the stamping here. So I think this image fits pretty well on a standard A2 sized panel.
This one does for sure.
I'm going to stick with that. And as Heather mentioned, this is a nice, the florals are all on one stamp. So, which makes it really nice. It really seamlessly aligns with the coordinating layering stencils. And then of course the one piece die for the flowers anyway, once you're done doing your stamping and stenciling.
So I'm going to do, because I know Leah's going to heat emboss for main image. I'm going to end up doing it in detail black. So I'm going to stamp in a lighter color, but first I'm actually going to stamp it once on vellum and heat emboss in white, because I think I'm going to tuck those in just as fun extra layers. So we'll both start off by heat embossing, but then I'll be using
so first things first, I am just going to use my anti-static powder tool, and I am going to rub it all over my white cardstock. And this is just basically ensuring that for the most part, the embossing powder will only stick to where I stamp it. Of course, there's always the few stray bits that stick here and there, but for the most part, the embossing powder will only land where I ink it up. And then we're just going to go ahead, and I'm using just some Wow clear ultra slow drying embossing ink. There's lots of embossing inks out there that you can use that work great for this.
I'm using the Simon Says, same thing, any clear, just make sure it's juicy. That's the main thing. When it starts to dry out, you don't get as good.
Yes. How I know that my embossing ink is drying out is when I am getting really terrible stamp impressions.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I always like to stamp a couple times for two reasons. One, I have a light stamping hand anyway. Two, I think when you apply the anti-static powder tool to the cardstock, it really dries it out. And so it really kind of sucks in that ink on that first impression. So I like to stamp twice, at least twice. And you know, our lovely stamping platforms really give us that ability. So I don't really worry about that.
I was gonna say, I notice on vellum, as long as my ink pad is really juicy, I don't usually have to do that.
Ooh, I agree on vellum. Yes. Yeah. Normally you get pretty good impression the first time. It's mostly cardstock. I think I noticed that.
And I think the stamp sticks really well to the vellum and peels it up. So it's hard to get it perfectly placed back to get that second stamp. So most of the time now I don't try. All right, I'm ready to heat emboss. So I'll let you talk and I will.
All right. So I feel like after my two impressions there, I actually got a really good stamp impression. I just realized that I grabbed the wrong embossing powder. So give me 1 second here. There we go. I'm wanting to use my gold pearl embossing powder today, and I just happened to grab the wrong bottle. So I'm going to go ahead and get the gold pearl embossing powder going. Okay. On my cardstock here. I'm gonna have to do this a couple of times because I just have that tiny little bottle. So we'll have to clean up midway through. I believe someone talked about this stamp would really be really lovely for watercolor. And I do actually think it would. I think that the flowers are big enough that you could do a really lovely watercolor.
And it's a nice simple one that would be really easy.
Yeah, for sure.
Look how pretty that looks white on vellum.
Oh, that's so pretty, Heather.
Such a dainty. I love the image on this. I just think it's perfect for that.
All right. Well, it looks like I am going to be the one heat embossing here next. So
all right, I'll talk about
to you to chat while I do that.
All right, I'm going to do my stamping now to get that on there. So because I want to stamp over this at the end with detail black ink, Oh, funny. I don't know if it's muting for, hopefully it's muting for you guys. So I want to do it in detail black, but I don't want to smear that ink. Because detail black is a hybrid, so it does take a little bit of time to dry. Not terribly long, but a little bit. So I'm going to stamp it in rocky slope. I'm going to just make really sure that my cardstock and everything is lined up down in this corner. And then I'm going to stamp it in this and leave everything lined up in my MISTI. So when we get to the end here, I can put it back in and restamp over the top in detail black. Because the gray is not, it's a dye ink. So it's not, there it is. It finally just muted. That took a little while. Hopefully you could still hear me. Sharon, real quick about not making the vellum ripple. Make sure it's heavy enough vellum. It is going to ripple a little bit. Like if you look at mine, it's a little bit and it kind of curls up. But two things. First of all, if you make sure and only heat it as much as you need to melt the heat embossing. So I make sure my gun's hot in advance and then move quickly. And then the other beautiful thing, if you're going to die cut this, that's going to help flatten and press it down too. So that will help kind of solve that issue.
Apparently my heat gun tool sounded like a blender. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, it didn't mute.
Sometimes it and sometimes doesn't. So we're not really
sure. You always do that. Did mine mute for you or not?
It did. So I'm not really sure why mine didn't.
Yours muted about halfway through.
Oh, weird. Okay. Well, so there we go.
It did eventually.
All right. So someone asked, I used the gold pearl embossing powder from Wow. That is what I'm using today. I never feel like the white balance does this very good justice. It's like this beautiful yellow gold. It doesn't photograph. Sometimes gold embossing can photograph a little brown. And I feel like this keeps that really nice yellow gold tone.
Doris, burning the vellum with the heat gun, only if you use a really excessive amount of heat. I don't think I've ever burned vellum. So I suppose it's possible, but I've never, ever done it.
I think you would have to heat it for a very long time. And yeah, so essentially you're just probably overheating it a little bit.
And then I noticed Kathleen Scattered Confetti. She said that she heats it from the front and back a little bit to even it out. That's a good idea.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay. Make sure my embossing powder, it has set, it never fails. I put my thumb in melted embossing powder and then I mess it up and I have to do it again.
I hate when I
we do not sell embossing powders currently. So we just use what's out there. And so we try to be good about telling you in the lives which type we're using that day. Okay, so I'm just lining up my first stencil. I'm always slower than Heather is at everything.
That's okay. I'm going to say something real quick to Kinnery. I don't know if she noticed on that. For some reason, YouTube's funny on comments now. If I write a comment and then put a smiley face at the end, it deletes the whole comment and only sends the smiley face. So I've had to force myself not to put smiley faces on.
That's new.
I know, it's super annoying. I just saw a smiley face randomly. I was like, I know what's going on there. I betcha.
Interesting. Okay, well, good to know. For stencil number 1, I'm using Ocean Breeze. What are you?
I'm using Slumber. So I'm actually, Leah's mixing it up a little, although that whole great minds thinking alike.
Yeah.
Which is funny today because we pulled out a lot of stuff the same, even trying to think different than each other.
We really did. It was funny. It was like,
I'm pretty closely following the mock-up colors. I woke up with a little bit of a cold this morning and my brain was trying to wrap around colors. And I went, you know what? Those mock-ups always have great options. So I'm just going to kind of roll with that. So
I'm using the mock-up colors, but just in a little different tones, I guess. Maybe. That's hard to explain.
Yeah. I don't know. Would aquas be cooler or warmer? I'm not even quite sure.
I think they might be warmer, but don't quote me on that.
I know. I was like, my brain wanted to say cooler, but I was like, no, I don't know. Anyway.
So one of the things I love about ink blending with embossing is as your brush hits those embossed lines, the ink kind of pools in certain areas. So you get a little bit deeper of a color with just the same color that you're using. And it really gives even more depth and dimension to your image. So what's one thing that I do love when you ink blend with heat embossing.
Okay, we're ready for the first. There you go. I can say first reveal.
Ready.
I feel like mine looks more smeary now until I stamp over the end. But that's part of the magic. So it'll be like the final reveal.
So mine is going to be a little bit, a little bit more bold because I've already heat embossed the lines fully.
Although if I did want to leave this gray, it would give, even if I stamped again in the gray, it would leave kind of a softer no line kind of look too. So that can be fun.
Absolutely. All right. So then we have the next layer of flowers, but you're also coloring in some small little flowers in this color. And I always find that those two sets of flowers are the best way to line the stencil up.
Exactly.
When you line up those smaller flowers, the other details in the bigger flowers just fall right into place.
I love those little details that make it easy to line them up.
I agree. I'm just going the next color up in our aquas to aquamarine.
I'm doing the same, only doing blue jay. So in the color family that I'm in, I'm moving up to that next one.
Perfect. And this
is a small layer.
It's pretty easy, guys, because it's, it's just the details and then those two small flowers. So it kind of goes pretty quickly.
And I'm going to see once I get this pulled off, a trick that I learned recently from Laura Basson, where sometimes when she does that second layer and it's a little harsh, she went back with the first layer on these and added just a little tiny bit more color to kind of blend and smooth those two colors together, especially if you're using darker
colors. I kind of like how mine is because my colors are a little lighter, so I don't think I have as much harshness in that. So I think I'm going to leave mine as is, but that is a really good tip.
Well, and I think they would still look fine without it, but I loved that tip and kind of how that added a little kind of melding between the layers. So I just thought, why not? I'm going to try it.
Absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and line my other stencil up while you're doing that. So this is the flower middles, and then it's just a few more of those flowers.
Oh, you know what? I didn't even realize what order I went in. We both did stencil 1 and 3.
You know what? I just realized I'm doing stencils completely out of order.
Yep. I didn't even notice I already was. So
same here. I think, okay, sorry. We should probably back up.
That's okay. So it doesn't really matter though.
Stencil 1. Next I did stencil 3. And now I'm on to stencil 5 because I like to do all of the flowers at one time.
I'm just going to copy and follow along with you. So
and then we'll go back to stencils 2 and 4, which are the greenery. So apologize that we didn't mention that at first. So when I get my stencils, I actually put them in the order that I prefer to blend in. So sometimes it doesn't even occur to me that I have completely changed the order from
I think mine were just in whatever order I had used last. So that's kind of same thing.
So I am going to try to ink blend these centers in marigold. I'm not sure if it's going to work. And if I don't love it, I can just put a jewel over top of it.
I'm having the exact same thought because I have sweet mustard for the same thing. So we'll see how that goes.
So I'm going to just use a small brush to go in and kind of ink blend over top of these centers to see how it goes. And if I don't love it, I'll just put a jewel over top of it. But if I do love it, then yay.
I think mine's turning green because
I think mine is turning green too. So this may
I don't know if I love that.
This just may be where a jewel goes over top.
It might just be better. But you don't know till you try.
Hey, you don't know until you try. And sometimes when you put the marigold or whatever, the yellow over top, it works great. It just didn't happen to work super great this time around.
Probably depends on what color. Like if you did coral reef for the flowers and then did that, that would make a really lovely kind of peachy tone.
It does. I actually think I did that in one of my release samples and it worked great. That's why I was like, oh, this should be fine. And then I started looking at it closer and I'm like, maybe it won't be fine. And then I'm going to just do those other small flowers that are on this same stencil in
actually, you know what? I already did that. Now that I pulled mine off, it actually worked better than I thought. It does look more yellow than I thought.
Does it? We'll have to see how mine goes here once I pull it off here shortly.
When the stencil was on, I didn't think so. But once I pulled it off, I was like, maybe that is okay.
All right,
we'll see what you think.
I still feel like mine is pretty green.
That's funny. And I would have thought the blue, maybe I just,
Huh.
I mean, it's a little bit, but it's not totally as much as I thought. So I still
Well,
might
we'll
put
see
it.
once I die cut and put it on my card. We'll see what I think.
Yeah.
I don't need to take that tape off, Leah. You have 2 more stencils.
Right. We have a plan, a backup plan.
Exactly. I think someone had asked about our glass mats, but I think someone answered, but just for reference, these are just 16 by 22 inch We Are Memory Keepers glass mats. All right, we're moving on to stencil 2
Yep.
because we went out of order.
But really, our fourth stencil. But stencil.
And this is the first layer of greenery.
And I'm using mint. I know you told me what you're doing, but I can't remember.
I'm going to do the olive evergreen combo. So I'm going to start with olive. I need to do just a quick clean off because I think the last color I used on my green brush was evergreen. So I just want to get that out first.
And I'm using mint, but I'm going fairly heavy because these are small. In fact, I think I'm going to add just a hint of meadow to this layer too, just a touch so that it's not too soft on this layer. Mostly mint.
For the greenery, I kind of do my normal blending where I blend a little deeper towards the base and then try to lighten it out so that the leaves look a little bit lighter as they fade away from the flower. On these teeny tiny leaves, I could probably do that a little bit easier with a smaller brush, but I didn't think to grab one. So I'm trying to do that, but in the end, as long as they have a little bit of color, that's really all that matters.
Oh, there's my first greenery layer. I'm gonna
Oh,
keep
hi,
going
Barb.
because it'll
Good to see
take
you
me a
today,
minute.
friend. I think I saw Candy jump on earlier. These are all some of my friends that are a little bit more local.
Nice. I'm just gonna jump up to my final stencil layer because I have to stamp again
Same
too. So.
here. This is stencil 4, friends. Okay. And then I'm going to switch over to evergreen ink for this final layer. I do think I'm going to grab my small brush this time because these are pretty small, intricate little leaves. And I think I'll have a little bit more control with the small brush.
All right. And I am all done there. So I'm going to go ahead and pivot over and do my black, detail black.
Yeah.
Stamping
You do that while I finish up my ink blending here. And then we'll kind of be on the same page.
Always nice when that works.
Right? At some point, you'll get ahead of me. We know this.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm a little slow and fuzzy brain this morning, this morning, I'm slow and fuzzy brain this morning. Yeah, it's not even morning here, so I can't even use that excuse.
Gotcha.
And I just tried to glue my Misty magnets together too, so there's that.
Ooh, that's always scary. I hate when that happens.
Yeah.
It gives me that moment. All right.
I'm always I jump like a mousetrap because I feel like I'm gonna get my fingers pinched in between.
Same. All right. You may have noticed Heather and I have just been buffing our stencils, just like the excess ink off of our stencils with dry lint-free cloths. When we end our live, we both do the same thing. We keep a spray bottle of isopropyl alcohol on our desk, and we'll just spritz down each stencil and clean them more thoroughly. And then the great thing about that is it gets any ink residue left off of there, but they're also immediately dry. So you can put them away or you can use them again. So here is what my version of these flowers look like today.
I'm almost done with my detail black, but if you saw it on camera there,
together.
Added some, and you know what, with this stamped over now, I don't even mind those yellow centers because you can't see them much.
Crisp and lovely. Look at that.
And look at our colors too, look totally different.
They do actually look absolutely different, even though we kind of picked the same families.
Mm-hmm.
They totally look very different from one another. Love it.
I think part of it's the difference between heat embossing and detail black. And
yeah, absolutely. And we picked very different shades.
Yes.
Of the colors as well.
And I'm going to clean this stamp real quick because detail black.
Yeah, I'm cleaning up my brushes real quick before I put them away. And then we'll kind of switch over to the next part of our, like, I kind of rearranged my brushes recently. And so I feel like a stranger in my own craft room because I don't feel like I'm putting them in the same place.
I've been doing so much organization. I keep doing the same thing. I'm like, I feel like when I was in Leah's craft room, I'm like, where's this? I can't find it. Only I can't ask anyone because I did it.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and die cut. I'm assuming you're probably doing the same thing.
Yep. Twice because I've got the vellum layer.
All right, I am keeping an eye on my video darkness because I am losing light every second here in Minnesota. So if it gets to be too dark, I'll probably have to flip on my lights in here, which does change the coloring of my video a little bit. So I'm trying to stick with the natural light as much as I can, but.
Okay, I've got one ready to die cut, so I'll be right back.
Okay, perfect. I'm still lining mine up here. All right, so these are just a nice one-piece die. You line it up to cut out all 3 flowers. So I like to take the extra time to line it up. Heather's always a little bit quicker at me than that. That's
not always, sometimes.
All right, and then now I'm gonna go ahead and run mine through.
Okay, look how pretty these are, you guys, in the white. I feel like just this alone, even without the ink blending everything, wouldn't that be beautiful on a wedding card or anniversary? Or honestly, even a sympathy card. I think just that really soft, neutral white heat embossing. It's so pretty.
All right. And I got mine cut out. Being a little stubborn getting out of the negative piece. There we go. And then keep in mind in this set that there are a couple of little chads that you'll want to poke out. We like to add these little details into our dies just to give it even more detail and dimension. So you'll notice there's this little piece that I just poked out. So there's a couple of these and I just want to go ahead and get them poked out so I don't forget about them.
Okay.
And look at how fun those are. Just love those. They're so pretty.
I'm going to save this because I might be able to use that corner there to stamp my sentiment.
Kittery is having a conversation with everybody in the live chat that we have 24 new ink colors coming out next year.
Yes, finally.
Very, very excited about the new ink colors. It's been a long process getting them going. So we're very excited about it.
Absolutely.
Okay, I think that I'm gonna also go ahead and get my my sentiment heat embossed real quick.
Okay, while you do that, I'm gonna die cut. I didn't get it done in advance, so I'm gonna do it now. I'm gonna use kind of an older release, but one of those oldie but goodies, the diagonal stripes of the window. So I'm gonna go ahead and die cut that.
All right, I'm just trying to find a piece of scrap cardstock here to use. So I am going to use one of the sentiments from the same stamp set. It says, "You are incredible and you are doing a great job." I think that's such a nice, fun sentiment. So I'm going to be cutting this out with one of our label frame dies that we have in our essentials collection, which I did not even check to see if they were in stock. That slipped my mind, so I do apologize if they're not. I didn't even think to check that. All right. And I'm going to heat emboss my sentiment in the same color that I heat embossed the flowers, just so that they will coordinate. Once again, I just prepped the cardstock with an anti-static powder tool. And then I am just going to stamp the sentiment a couple of times. I don't like to press down too hard or use too much pressure on our sentiments because they tend to be dainty, and we sometimes the font can be a little thinner. So I would rather stamp 2 or 3 times with a lighter impression and keep the integrity of the typeface that we've used.
Someone said the colors look like winter and spring. Now I'm wondering, I'm guessing mine are winter and yours are spring, would be my guess.
So,
but we'll see who. I might have that totally backwards because yours do kind of look frosty. So
I know, kind of frosty. I agree. I don't know. Yeah, that person, whoever commented that, will have to let us know what they were thinking. Who was who? Which is which? Looks like Kinnery is
she's picking
one of the first winners.
Perfect.
I'm gonna heat emboss while that happens. I'm sorry if it doesn't mute, friends.
And nope, it muted this time at least. And I will watch so I'm gonna kind of freeze there until Kinnery announces that winner. So I can say, oh, there it is, Kathy Witt. You are the first winner. And there's Leah unmuted again. I'll try and talk loud, or you know what, I'll just wait a second until she finishes. Silly Zoom, didn't mute again. Okay, so the winner is Kathy Witt, just to make sure it's heard. And you just need to email Leah at pinkfreshstudio.com. No H on her name, just LEA, and give her 2 to 3 business days to get back to you.
All right. Congratulations, Kathy. And sorry that Zoom decided it's not going to mute me any longer. I'm not really sure what's going on with that.
I don't know. It's not that big a deal, so.
Yeah. All right. So I am going to grab the label that I knew I wanted to use to cut this out. I'm going to go ahead and get that done real quick as well.
And I'm just kind of planning. I just wanted to make sure that I did want to do this. And I'm confirming that I do like it on the horizontal instead of the vertical version. So
it's very nice. Oh, that's pretty, Heather.
Yeah, I love the vellum added in there. Okay, so now I can trim my card base because I have just a soft blue that I wanted. Oh yes, that's perfect. So I just had to decide which way I wanted to cut my piece of cardstock before I committed to it.
Oh, Heather, it looks like I think it was mentioned that they thought mine was the wintry one.
Okay, that's what I thought at first, and then I was like, I'm not sure now. Okay.
All right.
I missed that.
I'm going to cut this label one more time for measure, just for stacking purposes, to make this a little bit sturdier.
Oh, fun. I like that frame on there. Ready to go. And as I'm thinking about it now, I probably could have done the card base in advance because I still could have just done a side fold of the horizontal, but I didn't think about that. So
I'm sorry, I didn't hear a word you said because my die cut machine was going and it's loud.
It's fine. No, I just said it occurred to me that I could have just die cut that in advance because I could have just done a side fold instead of a top fold if I switched to the vertical portrait style. But
for sure. All right, and then I'm going to do one more thing. I am going to dry emboss a background with one of our new hot foil plates, but I realized that I forgot to get out all of the plates I need to be able to do this. So bear with me for a second while I get all the correct plates out.
Okay.
And you can do this on, I think, pretty much all die cut machines. I'm going to stick with my Platinum 6 because it's the one that I know the best for this sandwich. And I'm going to give you one more sneak peek of an upcoming product. This is a new hot foil plate. This is our quadrant backdrop hot foil plate. I'm not hot foiling today with it, obviously. I'm going to use it to dry emboss. But it does have coordinating layering stencils and also coordinating die. So it's a fun one.
And I'm going to use that thank you sentiment from the stamp set. And I haven't decided which color I want it in. So I'm going to stamp it in 2 colors and then I can pick which one.
Good idea. Okay, so when you are dry embossing with one of our hot foil plates, here is the sandwich we have found in a Platinum 6 that works the best. So you put the standard platform down, and then you put the embossing mat. Then you want to go ahead and add your cardstock, whatever type or whatever paper, and then put your, hot foil plate over top of that. Then you just use a standard cutting plate and then go ahead and run it through your machine. This shouldn't be overtly tight. You don't want that because you don't want to ruin the pressure. So if you're having to really struggle to get that guy through, you need to remove some thickness there. But look at how amazing that turns out when all is said and done.
I love dry embossing with foil plates.
I love dry embossing with our hot foil plates. They are so fun. So while we aren't showing the hot foiling today with this, you'll be sure to see plenty of amazing samples using the hot foil version on the release on Monday. But I wanted to give you one more sneak peek because I knew I wanted to add this little bit of beautiful texture to the background of my card today.
Fun.
All right, let me clean my desk up here real quick.
Okay, and I'm gonna start die cutting here real quick. So
sorry, I know that's real loud. So okay. So then I have one final step to do. So I pre-cut some of our mini slimline frames that I'm going to be using on my card. But one thing that I love to do with this is I actually love to use the die to cut out the inner piece, because then I can actually just lay it inside and I don't have to worry about making sure I trim it down correctly or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and run this through my die cut machine and just trim it down.
Okay. And now I have both versions cut out. So now I can pick which one I want. And you know what? I'm glad I did the pink because I think I expected to like the blue better. And while I like the blue, I think I might like the pink better. Just because it makes those little flowers pop out a little bit better. But I'm still undecided. The blue does really blend in well too.
Okay, so then what you guys will see that I have an inner piece that fits perfectly within that frame. And I don't have to even cut out the little notches where it fits perfectly inside there. So I like to do that when we have sets like this. It just makes it a little bit easier when it comes time to assembling the card. Okay. All right, I think I'm kind of at the point where I'm ready to start putting my card together.
I think I'm with you there.
Okay. So I have created a mini slimline card base. It's 6 1/4 by 3 1/4 size inch. So that's kind of what we base our main mini slimline size on. A lot of our items do have some nested pieces within them, which also work pretty well for a 3 by 6 mini slimline, if that's more your preference. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at our mini slimline products.
I'm having a thought here, and now this might take me a little while, so you will totally be ahead of me because it suddenly occurred to me I should put foam on the back of this frame. Ha!
Oh yeah, so you're gonna have a minute.
Just a minute.
I did put foam tape on the back of these little mini slimline frames before going live. Just because I'm kind of slow at that. And
you were smart.
You guys didn't have to painstakingly watch me do that. So I've just cut these from a little bit of ivory glitter paper. I just tend to get my glitter paper at Michael's. You can really use any type of glitter paper that you have on hand and it would work.
Yeah.
All right. And then I'm just going to use some liquid glue to glue down that dry embossed background that I created for this card. like my little tape is not super sticky anymore. My card doesn't want to stay shut. It's okay. So I like using liquid glue for this purpose because it gives me a little bit of time, I get a little bit of wiggle time to make sure that I'm lining that background up nice and straight with the frame. Look at how fun that is with the embossing. So much fun. Cindy, I'm not sure which color you mean. If you're asking about my card base, it's kind of like a really pale pink. And then the glitter paper is ivory glitter, and then this is just white. All right, so now that I have kind of my base figured out here.
Okay, someone just said I should cut 2 more frames. It'd be easier than foam tape. You're correct, but I have gone far enough now that I've committed this way. So it's kind of too late for that. We're past the point of no return.
I was gonna say, she's already doing it. So
and I'm like halfway done.
We're to where you just have to do it. Oh yeah, Heather's card would probably look really pretty with a different color in the slats as well, like in the stripes. That would be a fun version of it.
That different color cardstock behind the cutout. Yeah, you know what? That would probably be really fun. But you know what? I've already done my little silly fiddly bit, so I'm not going to change that.
Heather's like, nope, not doing it.
No, we're done. This is as fiddly as I'm going to get today. In hindsight, maybe not my best plan, but it'll look pretty, so it'll be worth it.
Oh, yes. So Sherry was saying that the new extended plates from Spellbinders, she used them to cut out her washi tape. And absolutely, that's a great thing about their new extended plates is that they work a little bit better with our larger dies, especially for our slimline cards and our washi tape products.
Yes, we were pretty excited when
really nice feature of the new extended plates.
Now we just need Misty to come out with a slimline stamp platform. We'd have it
I know, right? I would love that. All right, I'm just kind of fussing because I'm trying to figure out the placement that I want for my flowers here. Okay.
And I know I'm missing a lot of comments. I'm trying to glance as I'm meticulously taking down.
There we go.
Almost done. On the last 2 pieces, home stretch.
Very nice. Okay, I think I like that. All right, so now I have kind of a basic idea. Take it all down and then now put it together.
Okay, then I just got to get the last of the backings off. I tried to do these as I went so I wouldn't have a gazillion to do at the end. So not too bad. I will have thin foam strip backing pieces all over when this is all said and done.
I find them all over my craft room pretty much daily.
However, I do love these pre-trimmed strips. And
they're the best.
Cost effective they are as well. That if I had to trim white foam tape into that, we can be real and say that would
goodness, could you even imagine? I don't think I would do it.
I know I wouldn't for a fact.
Okay, I just need one little wider chunk of.
And then the real moment of truth. I got it on straight.
Nice.
Could you imagine?
That's always the like breath holding moment. Like, is this gonna be straight?
All right. So now we can move on here. Let's
see here. Down a little bit of foam tape here to help it stay nice and sturdy. All right, one more time. I kind of gotta remember how I'm setting this up here. Like that. Okay.
Always the challenge, huh?
Right.
Okay.
Oh, thank you guys. Lots of nice comments about how our cards are coming together.
Oh, good. All right.
I think that's straight. Yeah, it's straight. Goodness. All right, gonna do some little final fluffing on my flowers here.
Yep, I had to do the same. And then I'm gluing my little vellum ones down first. My glue wants to be stubborn.
Your glue is being stubborn.
Yes.
Ugh.
I swear that it never clogs unless you're doing a live.
Until you're live, 100%.
Yep. Oh, and there we go. At least it comes undone quickly. So,
And interesting enough, now that the ink has kind of finished sinking into the cardstock, it actually does look pretty yellow in the centers.
isn't that crazy how that? I know. I was kind of surprised when I finished. Oh, no. Hey. Okay, that didn't work.
No.
I'm not the only one who talks to my cards, surely.
Oh, I totally talk to my cards. All right.
In fact, we both just did it together. All right. Almost at the same time.
Stop moving. Yelling at all the little things to stop moving on me.
Mm-hmm. It's a thing.
Okay. And I think I'm going to grab a little foam dot here to help keep this guy in place.
Oh, I'm loving. And so I am letting my vellum pieces go off the edge of the card. So this will be more of a hand deliver, not fit in an envelope, but
yeah,
it looks so pretty.
I was trying to keep things in the card, but then this guy, it's totally going to go off the card. So in the end, I failed. I totally failed at that. It's fine.
What's funny is I thought about doing a slimline, but I was like, it's not going to be enough florals to fill a big slimline.
It actually is, going, I'm having,
like, I would.
I think it would fill up a slimline perfectly fine.
So now we know.
Yep. Okay. I'm actually going to do a little flower surgery, which I know is not everybody's favorite thing, but I'm going to cut these leaves off and then it actually won't hang off the side. It was just a little bit too much hanging off the side for me with that.
I think mine
would look
There we
go. And that fits so much better in the place where I want it to be. This one, I'm going to put a little foam dot right in the center.
Oh, this makes me so happy. Look at how pretty those are with that. I love the vellum underneath.
Gorgeous.
All right, now the moment of truth. Blue, thank you. Or pink, thank you.
You got to show them to me up close.
All right, so there's the pink one on there.
Okay.
It's kind of like not stuck on. I'm thinking the pink. I feel like it pops a little more.
Okay.
The blue blends in, but I feel like it hides a little too much. I don't know though. Maybe it's more visible though.
I feel like the blue's a little more visible, but you're right. It kind of matches with the blue.
And part of it depends if I add that secondary sentiment like I planned. So I was trying to decide if I add for being you stamped in black. I thought about you're the best, but I don't think that's going to fit on here quite. No, I don't think I like the you're the best. I think I'll stick the for being you. So let me trim. I'll do that on a little scrap of black and then or a scrap of white cardstock in black. I know what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying.
I know what I mean.
I'm picking up what you're throwing down.
I'm so glad.
Okay. I think I'm at the point where I'm trying to decide if I'm going to add jewels or not. I could tuck these little leaves in somewhere and actually use them. Ooh, I actually kind of like them right there. Or maybe here.
Oh, yeah, the extra ones you trimmed off, huh?
Yeah. Ooh, I kind of like them. Actually, like I'm framing that sentiment a little bit more. I think I'm going to do that, and then I don't waste them.
Perfect. I'm using my Misty backwards, Leah.
Well, that's not backwards, Heather.
I say it's backwards.
It's not.
Like the numbers are in my brain a little bit, to be honest. But because of where I was doing it, it's what I had to do. And I'm like, I should have put it in the other way, but I'm doing it.
All right. I think someone was asking where there's a gnome washi. So in our holiday elements washi tape that we released this year, there is a cute little Christmas gnome included on it. And yes, the leaves are saved. I used them so they didn't get tossed in the garbage. And they're a nice little accent to add to the front.
Quite often when we do that, we do use them for something else. I think
Absolutely.
There was one I did recently for lives that I did that. I don't remember which one, but same thing. I didn't just cut them off and throw them away. I used them.
And I'm trying to figure out what jewels I want to put on this card. Kind of struggling with that one a little bit.
I hate that one.
Let me pull them out. Let me see what I think here. While you're working on that. So I have this little basket that I put all of our little pouches in so that when I want to look at all of the different options we have, I have them all available to me. I don't think I'm going to do glitter drops on this one because I have quite a bit of glitter on the frames. I'm thinking about the sparkling champagne pearls. I know that they're a little different from the gold pearl embossing, but I think they might be kind of pretty. Or, let me see what I think. Or I could do the clear iridescent drops. Someone mentioned that. And those might be really pretty as well, if I can find them. There we go.
Well, I think I'm going to go with the pink. Now that I have this on here, I know you can't see it, but I think it's going to just look better. The blue's good, but it's just
I would say go with your gut.
Blue. Yep. I'm still like agonizing over it. Finally, I was like, you know what? I just need to pick, and I keep gravitating back towards the pink. So pink it is.
Well, there you go. Then that's how you know it's the right one. If that's the one you're gravitating towards, oh, I am definitely doing sparkling champagne because I actually really love how that looks with the gold pearl embossing. So same here. I'm going with my gut.
Yeah. And I think what throws me is looking at it in real life, I like the pink. And then I look up at the screen and I like the blue. So I think it's just how it's showing up on camera that's throwing me. So that's why I was like, you know what, in person is where it matters. So
that makes sense.
All right. And I'll save that other thank you for something else.
Absolutely. And I think we're going to put a couple down here. That's too big. Oh, thank you, Barb. I appreciate that.
I think that was, I don't even know if that sounded on
bigger one
camera there, but someone just, I think it was the school bus just honked in our neighborhood. I've never heard them honk, and it sounded like a really tiny little honk.
Interesting.
Sounded like a little tiny car, and then it's
like, a baby honk.
I was like, huh, didn't expect that.
All right, I like that placement, I think. And because in the end, my flower centers actually look pretty yellow, I'm pretty pleased. I'm gonna leave those. Yes, I'm not using our, we debuted or sneak peeked, like really sneak peeked, our upcoming kind of as the dual tip embellishment tool. I'm not using that today. I'm sure soon enough we'll start using them in lives, but I think we're waiting just a little bit. But the tool is really gorgeous and beautiful, and you guys are going to be really excited once you get yours. Now, of course, the first people to get them are those that are registered for our February Create and Connect card making event.
Okay. That needs some extra.
And then I believe I saw Kinnery mention somewhere that the tool will then release in March after the event is over.
Leah, you beat me.
Did I beat you?
This up. You did.
I never beat you.
I told you. All right. I didn't look at, so I'm assuming jewels and crystals are both in stock because I didn't even look to decide what I want to use. So
I think you're safe as long as you, I haven't checked to see if the glitter drops have been restocked, but I think everything other than that is in stock.
Okay.
Kinnery can tell me if I'm wrong.
Okay, I'm looking at crystals. So stop me, Kinnery, if I'm using something out of stock. I'm just going to start preparing for it here. So if she tells me
yes,
that I can't,
and that's a good thing to mention for those that either couldn't register in this first leg of registration or missed it. We will open registration for the February event back up, I believe, in January. So keep a lookout for that. If you're not signed up for our emails, that's one of the best ways to hear about it. We send out the email first before it even posts to social media or anything like that. So if you, once again, if you weren't able to register for this first one or just missed it, we will open it again for a short period of time in January. Thanks, guys. I'm glad you like it. I'm actually super pleased with how this card turned out. I was worried that I wouldn't have any more ideas because I've actually used this stamp set a lot in the release. And so I was worried that I wouldn't think of something new and interesting, a new and interesting way to use it, but I am pleasantly surprised with how this card turned out.
Yay. Love when that happens. Okay. And I'm just fiddling. I can talk.
No worries.
Where to put my...
We still have 4 minutes, Heather. I just happened to end really early, which is unusual for me.
So if Kinnery picks a winner, you can
She is working on that right now. I just
saw her say that
from her.
So you can announce that while I stick these down. I saw her say I'm good or you're good. So I'm assuming she was talking about these. So I'm sticking them down. Oops.
Thank you, everyone. Everybody is talking about how beautiful the cards turned out. We appreciate that. Oh, thanks, Doris. Super glad you had fun with our combined lives. We do this typically once a month for a release sneak peek, and then occasionally on like a special occasion. Maybe it's World Card Making Day or
holidays.
Something, or a something like that. So,
okay, I got it done.
Beautiful.
And I just saw the one.
All right. Congratulations to Roberta Patterson. You are today's second $15 gift card code winner. So all you have to do to claim your prize is email me. My email is Lea@pinkfreshstudio.com. There's no H on the end of my name, so it's just LEA. And please allow for about 2 to 3 business days for me to get back to you.
We still ended up totally different. Look at that.
They did. I love this sentiment, by the way. Isn't it? Isn't that the sweetest sentiment?
I love Pinkfresh sentiments in general.
I know. They're like the best.
Yeah.
All right. We probably need to flip back around to us. I'm not completely sure what my front facing camera will look like because it is real dark here. So I'm sorry if it's terrible.
We did it though. We pulled it off with 2 minutes to spare.
We did. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today for our November release sneak peek with both of us. So just a reminder, in case you weren't here at the beginning, most of the products that Heather and I use today aren't available yet. They will be available in our online shop on Monday, November 21st at 7 a.m. Central Time. So and Heather and I will update the video description with the products we used that are currently available here shortly.
Exactly. That way serves a reference.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. In terms of lives this week, it's kind of a busy week.
I was going to say it is. We've got a bit of a comeback.
We have a scrapbooking live on Friday with Natalie. Her lives are at 12 noon Central Time. And drum roll.
I know. Got to do it.
Back hitting things.
We'll just knock our desk over.
Craft Hour will be this Saturday at 12 noon Central as well with the wonderful Mr. Jeff Lindbergh. He's got a great guest this week. Barbara, it's at 12 noon. Should I just say who it is? Let's just say who it is.
I think it's time.
Kelly Taylor is going to be joining us this week on Craft Hour. They are going to be doing kind of 2 things. They're going to be featuring our washi tape release from October, but they're also going to be sneak peeking on a kind of a special product that's
kind of special to Jeff.
Release. It's special to Jeff. That should probably give it away.
That might give it away, depending on who saw.
All right, guys. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. It's 4 o'clock. We're going to sign off. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you back here on Friday for Scrapbooking Live with Natalie. Talk to you later,
Have a great
guys.
week, everyone.
Bye.